Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Cherika Brown, of course. We're on another episode of Cherika Be Talking because I be talking. On today's episode, we're going to address the topic of you don't have to box yourself in. Oftentimes, people tell us what they ask us as far as young as grade school. What is your passion? What do you love to do? What keeps you going? What are you willing to do without getting paid? Like, that's the craziest question ever, as a matter of fact, because yeah, while there are things that I do and I'm not really thinking about the pay rate or anything, we all want to do something and get rewarded for it. Even as a young child, when I would get straight A's on my report card or anything, I look forward for that $50 for every 100 I got from my grandma. When she feeling good, I get $100 for every A on my report card. Like, it felt good to do something and be rewarded for it. We live in a society where you reap what you sow when you get the benefits of your hard work. Your labor, your hard work grants you a reward. That's the whole entire point of working hard. So I never got those type of questions. And I feel like those questions at a very young age, starting in public school, is what makes us box ourselves in. What are you passionate about? Where do you see yourself in 3 years, in 5 years? Like, we can't predict the future. While we should have goals and we should try to meet our goals, we can't really determine step by step what can happen. When you are a person of faith, you know that your life can change within the blink of an eye. One decision can alter your entire path. So as far as those questions that we have and we always have to ponder on, I think sometimes those things can honestly box us in, the things that people think are pushing us forward or motivating us. When I think about this topic, we are fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and there are so many layers to what we have to offer. While some of us are able to recognize and pinpoint specific strengths we have, we are also constantly growing and evolving into more mature people and the mature version of ourselves. I know a lot of times I speak to people that's even my age, early, late 20s, that will tell me like, I just don't know if I like my job. I don't know what I'm passionate about. And I think that's what can keep a person stuck. Because in today's message, I just want to encourage you not to place limitations on yourself. And those things and those thought processes really do place limitations on human beings. You can change your mind, you can change your lane, change your look, and even change your mindset at any point in time. Nothing is set in stone, and there is beauty in having free will. God gave us free will for a reason. He didn't make us robots and he didn't make us like linear. So we need to take advantage of that free will that he grants us as human beings. We live in a society that tells us we should stick to something. And while I understand that that is put in place to encourage productivity sometimes, it can be discouraging for some to even get started. The thought of having to figure out this one thing that I'm passionate about and I cannot move until I figure this part out first. See, when we approach what we do in life as an end all, be all, passion, decision to make, most people are left stuck beating themselves up about not knowing, what am I passionate about? I have to answer this one question. However, there's also beauty in cultivating a mindset that understands nothing has to be forever and we can change just as the seasons do. I'm a firm believer in changing with the seasons sometimes. Every time there is a new season, we feel a change in our bodies. Our bodies respond to the weather no matter what precautions we try to take. There is a change that we experience physically, sometimes mentally. When we have daylight savings and everything, we experience a change and there's a shift each year, every season. We rob children and people of their creativity when we make them feel like everything is not full of choices. Placing those limitations and those strict questions on people make people feel like they don't have a choice and that there's something in them already there that they just don't know is there. While that is true, there's things inside of us that we can wake up. I don't think that finding one thing out of an entire life that we get to live is the answer to that. We make people have to ponder on what they're passionate about with little to no life experience instead of encouraging trying new activities, exploring new hobbies, just to see what gets you going. A lot of times we don't even know what gets us going until we get out and do things. So I want to encourage people too to just stop asking people that question, what are you passionate about? That question is, I think it's tired at this point. Like, I get it. Some of us are passionate, like, about serving, and we actually know what we're called here to do. And so while the question can be answered, it can also make some people feel like worthless in a sense, like, oh, I gotta find out what I'm passionate about, and they just left stuck and still. So ways that you can not box yourself in, I would say, number one, I would pick up a new hobby, something that you wouldn't typically think you do. We can find blessings and lessons in doing the unusual and breaking out of our comfort zone. Personally, I've always just kind of, when it comes to the ocean and stuff, I don't really believe in swimming in the ocean because we can't control that water and it's out of our control. Me, honestly, being a very controlling person, I don't like things that I can't control, and the thought of it really scares me. So I recently started taking some swimming lessons, and I just basically tried to get comfortable with being in water, even though a pool to me is more so safer for swimming than going out in the ocean. So just doing things that get you out of your comfort zone can help you, because I travel often and every now and then. So, you know, you want to enjoy the water. So I figured, let me place myself in an environment where I can enjoy vacation more. That's something you can think about. Number two, I would say start something you've always thought of starting without thinking too much about it. Just take a first step. When I first started my YouTube channel, I was using my background as an actress. I have my little backdrop set up, my light, and I just talk on here. Do I want sometimes a more professional setup? Yeah, I like the thought of authentic content. So just keeping it simple for me works, and it feels less like a job. So it works for me. But do I think about expanding and, you know, possibly bringing on guests and people to talk? I definitely do, because when you add that, it adds just much more of a flair. Of course, there are a handful of y'all that see the value in my content and know that I'm teaching you all and sharing things that are beneficial for life and life lessons that'll take you further, and something may click and wake up something in you. That's the point and purpose of this content. However, if I worried about, oh, I just got my phone, I don't have a professional camera, I don't have microphones, I don't have like a studio set up. If I worried about and sat down and overthink every single thing, I would have never gotten started with this particular channel. One of my most popular videos is me actually recording in portrait mode instead of landscape. We know YouTube is popular for being in landscape. So I'm in portrait mode, just talking to my camera, laying on the bed, and this video just blew up, and it got me a good amount of subscribers. So you never know what people are looking for, what people may like, but the answer to that is just getting started. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. And as you go, you will grow. So that's a lesson that you can take out of that. And number three, I would say continuously seek growth and seize every opportunity that presents itself that doesn't go against your morals and values. I worked a corporate job before, and basically in this particular company, you can always grow. However, I was comfortable in my role. It was pretty easy work, getting good money, so I was just okay. However, I had a manager that was like, you know, you can actually do this. You're good enough to do this and do that and do this. And it's a move that'll keep you climbing the ladder and make more money. I would always see those opportunities in my email, but didn't quite do them because I'm like, the job pretty easy. I'm getting good money. I'm okay. I don't want to do nothing else and then not like it. So as I start to seize those opportunities and grow, it made me hungry to want to grow more. And then you end up realizing that those opportunities that you keep yourself in this box and you wasn't allowing yourself to explore other things. And then when you go out and explore other things, you will find out that sometimes those other things are much more than where you were, but you were just scared to take those leaps. So I encourage seizing every opportunity that you get, because you're going to get a lesson and or a blessing in any situation that you go after, as long as it does not go against your morals and values. Also, number 4, I would say talk to people that you wouldn't normally associate with. This is a big one, because especially for people like me that grew up in Atlanta, like when you go out, you see people just like you everywhere. Owners, like restaurant owners, workers, from everything. Honestly, it's a culture shock for people that lives in a place like Atlanta to go to any other state or city in America, because it's just different. Like, we are not used to not all the time interacting with people like us, even from our teachers and everything. They always look like us. So when you talk to people that you wouldn't normally associate with, it wakes up a different side of you. Sometimes a different type of conversation can make a light bulb click in your brain, or it can be a missing piece of the puzzle God is helping you piece together. There's value in talking to people that are different from you and that are in a different place and space in life than you. And they can even sometimes look like you, but you just sometimes wouldn't associate with this person. It helps you step out of that bubble and step out of that comfort zone. Number 5, I would say, this one is tricky, but it's valuable at the same time. And you have to be careful because you don't want to block people out. But number 5 is take opinions and criticism with a grain of salt. When it comes to criticism, you have to pray for wisdom and ask God to help you to see yourself from other people's lenses. This is very tough to do and very hard to do. People are either trying to help you and encourage you, or they're projecting their fears onto you. Always remember that this is your life and only you have to live with the decisions that you decide to make for your life. Everyone's path is different, and when you think outside the box, your story can definitely be unique. And some people just won't understand that, and it could be the people that you love the most, but that's okay. As long as you're okay with the decisions in your life, you're the only person that will have to live with whatever comes with the decisions you make. Bossing yourself in, to me, is equivalent to counting yourself out. So I want you to reflect on how you may be counting yourself out, and ask yourself, how am I counting myself out? Also, what small, immediate changes can you make to ensure that you're constantly evolving and maturing as a human being, an adult, and contributing and living your life to the fullest, to the point that when God does call you home, you're satisfied and you're content because you know you did not place limitations on yourself. But that's all I have for y'all today. I hope this was very beneficial and helpful, and I will be back because I be talking.